We've all been there. You plan an amazing ride or trip, or you've got a race that you've been training for months. The weather forecast is amazing, and then bang, something goes wrong with your bike that you're unable to fix at home, or it's gonna cost you a fortune in your local bike shop. Well, fear not. In this video, I'm gonna show you 5 tools which you can buy for your home workshop, which will help you fix 5 common problems that you're likely to encounter at some point, saving you time and money in the long run. The things I'm showing you are things that I've encountered in the past, either through working in a bike shop or problems I've had on my own bikes. They can all be an absolute right pain. So hopefully by watching this, you'll be able to avoid that. Now the first one is buy high quality tools. So not a specific tool, but more of a mantra for all tools. Like many things, there are cheaper options available, but these can often be a false economy, and I'll tell you why. A high quality tool will keep its sharp edges, and the tolerances ensure repeatable quality. Hex wrenches are the most obvious example because cheaper options lose their edge quicker than the more premium options. Either the alloy is too hard or too soft, and they're more likely to therefore round out your bolts. A rounded out bolt is a right pain. It's gonna be a massive hassle to remove it from your bike, or it's gonna involve a lot of money and time taking it to a bike shop to get it fixed. The simple solution, buy high quality tools, therefore it's much less likely to happen, and the adage rings true. You buy cheap, you're likely to buy twice, meaning that it is a false economy. Another example is using a cheap Phillips head screwdriver to adjust limit screws on derailleurs. Now, Shimano derailleurs have often used something called JIS. That stands for Japanese Industrial Screwdriver. Shimano mechanical group sets often had bolts that look like Phillips head bolts to adjust them. They're actually Japanese industrial screwdriver bolts, which means that the head is subtly different. They are being phased out and being used less and less, but there are loads and loads of them out there. And a common thing that I've seen when working in bike shops is people rounding out the limit screws on their derailleurs because they've used a cheap Phillips head screwdriver to adjust them rather than a dedicated JIS screwdriver, such as this one, the DSD2 from Park. There you go. Next is a Mech hanger straightening tool. Now, if your rear derailleur has taken a knock, the hanger can bend. That's this little sacrificial part here. I'd recommend always try and get a spare hanger for your bike and have one ready in your toolbox to go if you need it. Lead times on Mech hangers are at best going to be a couple of days if they're in stock, and it's often a lot longer. And let's face it, you're going to want to ride your bike now. A spare gets you out of jail straight away, but sometimes you bend your spare, or you don't have a spare. A straightening tool is the solution. It's a 5-minute job. Simply take off your rear mech and attach the tool into where the rear mech goes into the hanger with the hanger attached to the bike. We have a dedicated video on how to adjust your rear mech hanger and bend it back into place, but this dedicated tool from Park, well, it makes life very easy, especially now it's been updated. Next up, cable cutter tool. Right, this falls under the category of things that I wish I'd bought sooner. At some point in your cycling life, you're gonna have to change a cable. Now, changing a cable is a pretty simple job to do, whether it's gear or brake cable. However, people often don't have appropriate cutters, and so then they start thinking, oh, I can just do it and cut the cable with anything. I've seen people use all sorts of stuff, like kitchen scissors, garden shears, just a massive knife, all sorts. None of it works. What you need is dedicated cutters. And the reason why is because if you use something else, it will crush the cable and it will fray it and won't result in a clean cut. You need a clean cut in the cable for the cable to be passed through the outer housing and fed through the brakes or the gears or the derailleurs or whatever it is that you're connecting it to. A crushed cable just doesn't work. You need cutters. And good ones, like this, they also have a little extra on them. You can see here, there's actually a crimp tool built into the back of the cutter to crimp the little ferrule to cap off the end of your cable. Next is a hydraulic brake bleed kit. Now, increasingly, more and more road bikes and gravel bikes come with hydraulic disc brakes. It's kind of become the standard now. Yet, hardly any roadies seem to have brake bleed kits. Mountain bikers all seem to have them, but I think roadies are scared of them. You needn't be though, because, well, once you've done it a couple of times and you've used a brake bleed kit, it becomes pretty easy and you pick it up and how to use it fairly quick. Now, the advantage of having one is that if you do need to sort your brakes out or work on your brakes ahead of that important race or ride, you can do, even if the bike shop is shut, which is a huge advantage. Now, to be able to work out how to use this, don't worry, we have got a really detailed, dedicated video showing you on how to bleed your brakes. Although a lot of the time, a full brake bleed isn't actually required to get your brakes working tip-top from where they might be. Just make sure that you've got spare olives and barbs and brake fluid, because you'll need that too. And sometimes sourcing those components can take a couple of days if you don't have them ready to go. And finally, we have a cable routing kit, but this is one of my favorite tools in the entire world. Most bikes now come with internal cables. It's just become the norm, it's become the standard. And yes, they are harder to work on, but having an internal cable routing kit makes them much, much easier. I'm an idiot sandwich. Recently, I managed to snap the Di2 rear derailleur cable on my TT bike when I ham-fistedly took it out the back of a van. Now, changing that cable and getting me back on the road was made much easier by a modern routing kit. And that's because they contain various different cable routing options with different attachments on the ends of them. Now, these attachments on the end cater for any of the different types of cables you might be rerouting. So they cater for hydraulic lines, for gear cable, outers, inners. They also cater for Di2 cables. So you can see this one, for example, is designed to attach into the modern style of Di2 cable, whereas this one is designed for the older style of Di2 cable. You can see that one goes in there. And on the other end, we have a magnet, which is then used with a magnet on the outside of the frame to guide the cable through the frame or bars wherever you want. They really are a lifesaver. They'll save you so much time, hassle, stress, and deposits into your swear jar. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. And for all the maintenance jobs that we've discussed in this video, if you want to do some maintenance at home, we have a handy essential maintenance book available in the GCN shop, which you can buy and help you take you through all these jobs step by step. But I hope you found this useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you, bye.